know, my ancestry lies in Mexico. My dad's Mexican. But not many of you realize that a big part of my ancestors from that side of the family are native, which means that they're Aztec, which means that I'm Aztec. So I thought that I would share my knowledge on Aztec and Mexican culture with you guys today. Pretty much everyone knows that in Mexico they speak Spanish, which is true, but it's not. Spanish comes from Spain, which is very much like in America where we speak English, but English comes from England. Just like we speak American English, and how there are words that don't match up with English, there are words in Mexico that don't match up with Spanish. A lot of the words that they do talk and use on a daily basis are native words from the Aztec language, which brings me on to my point of Nahuatl. Nahuatl is the native language that was spoken in Mexico by the Aztecs, and it's got the same basic rules as Spanish does, but there are a few different rules and things and how to speak. QU and C before any other letter besides E or I sounds like K. Y sounds like J. Z, CE, and CI sound like S. HU sounds like W. TZ sounds like Z. J sounds like H. And X sounds like SH. Mexico as a whole is mainly Christian, which means that they do celebrate a lot of Christian holidays and traditions that many other people celebrate. It's not strictly Mexican. The Aztec religion resembles that of Greek or Roman religion, which is many, many gods that symbolize different aspects of nature. In Aztec times, they did many, many things to celebrate their many, many gods. For example, they used the abundant volcanic rock to create statues of their gods. They would carve the gods out of the volcanic rock and set them atop of displays and altars that were dedicated to that specific god. For example, these two statues are dedicated to the moon god and the sun god. This one is the moon god. You can tell because of the stone moon engraved into his head. And this one is the sun god, and you can tell because of the stone sun engraved into his head. This is one of the books I used to read as a child. It's about the myths and legends of the Aztec gods. When you open it up, on the inside front flap, there's a colored picture of the gods they used to celebrate. Where the book starts, it has the word dioses, which means gods. It also has a little phrase that somebody had written in here. It says, "He aquí el relato que solían decir los viejos, en un cierto tiempo que ya nadie puede contar, del que nadie ahora puede acordarse." When you delve further into the book, it has the name of the god correlating with their story and a picture of them. This god is Quetzalcoatl. He is the god of the wind, and this is how they pictured him. He is one of the most powerful gods and one of the gods referenced the most. Okay, so religion and traditions correlate quite a bit. In Mexican culture nowadays, they celebrate a lot of Christian holidays and traditions. For example, they celebrate El Día de los Tres Reyes Magos, which is the Day of the Three Wise Men. On January 6th, young children will set out their shoes in hopes that the three wise men will come by and drop a small toy in one of their shoes. Now, another way that holiday is celebrated is by making and eating a rosca. A rosca is a round bread decorated with fruits and candies that will resemble the crown of one of the three wise men. Inside the bread, there is a small toy that resembles baby Jesus. Now, the whole family and all of their friends will gather around and eat the rosca in a big party. But if you're the person who gets the baby Jesus inside of their slice of bread, guess who's throwing a party? You are. Now, there are many Aztec traditions as there were many gods to celebrate. A typical celebration of a god, there would be many masks and a lot of music. Now, these flutes are a lot different than any other flute that you'll be used to. These flutes have a slit at the bottom, which you can blow through to create music, and it'll come out of these 4 holes on the chest of the god. These 4 holes can be covered up and uncovered to create different notes and sounds. They also make masks in celebration of their gods. Now, some of these masks would resemble the gods that they were celebrating, but this is not a mask that resembles a god. One of the Aztec traditions that is still celebrated today is Dia de los Muertos. Now, Dia de los Muertos is a holiday when people set up altars for the loved ones that have passed away. On the altars, they will set out pictures of the person, foods that they love to eat, and things that they love to do. Now, on that holiday, people in the city of Oaxaca will parade down the streets wearing masks like this. These masks look like skulls, which are meant to resemble death, but they also have many bright colors and fun designs that are meant to celebrate life. This holiday is dedicated to the natural cycle of life and death. In Mexico, food is a very big thing. So in Aztec times, a very big part of their diet was based off of corn. They would grind up corn into masa. Masa is a flour that is used to make the dough that is used to make tamales. Corn was also used to make tortillas. Corn was also grinded up to make a puddingy type drink that is called atole. Nowadays, they sell mixes of atole, but back then they would have to make their own. Atole used to be vanilla flavored or chocolate flavored, but nowadays they even have strawberry flavored atole. Now, corn was obviously not the only thing they used to eat. Cacao was grown quite a lot, and it was used to make chocolate. They would boil chocolate and mix it with milk to make a drink, which we know nowadays as hot chocolate. Now, everyone knows that in Mexico they have a lot of spicy foods. In Aztec times, they would take their chiles and set them in the sun to dry. Later, they would use the seeds and the skins of those chiles and cook them down and cook them into food. This is chile mulato, and this is chile pasilla. On the topic of spicy things, we still see a lot of spicy foods in Mexico today. The widely known brand, Herdez, makes and cooks salsas for people to buy. There are a lot of other brands that sell hot sauces instead of salsa, such as Cholula, Buffalo, and Valentina. Cheese is a very common food in Mexico. There's a lot of different cheeses that are mainly made from goat milk, and this is one of the most common, which is Chihuahua cheese. It's used just to melt and make into quesadillas and things of the sort. Tea is a very common thing in Mexico. Chamomile tea is used to help cure the sick people, and hibiscus flowers are ground down and boiled into jamaica. Jamaica is a red tea that resembles Kool-Aid, and it tastes just like it, but it's natural. Many spices such as cinnamon and cloves are boiled into water to make teas as well. Not everyone loves candy, but not as much as the Mexicans. Mexico has a lot of different types of candies, but most of them have chile in them. Take pulparindo, for example. Pulparindo is made from tamarindo. Tamarindo is a plant that grows on trees, which they use to make and break down somehow to make into these lovely little candies. One of the things that they use to mix into these candies and a lot of other candies is chile powder. Chile powder is basically a mix of chile, lime, and salt that is made into a powder and sold as yummy goodness. The Aztec government doesn't look that much different from the Mexican government today. The Aztec government looked like this. Basically, it had a leader, a council, and calpulis. Calpulis were groups of families that would share and take care of land. Now, the Mexican government today is the same as the American government. It has the same structure with the president and everything. Now, the president of Mexico is Enrique Peña Nieto, more commonly known as just Peña Nieto. Now, most of the population doesn't really love Peña Nieto, as he hasn't done much to help with the drug cartels and all the problems that they are having today. In Aztec times, daily life pretty much resembled the life of the Native Americans from here. Nowadays in Mexico, daily life still resembles that of America. America isn't that much different from Mexico, and Mexico isn't that much different from America. But in Mexico, there are a lot of problems right now with the drug cartels that I have mentioned before, and you just have to be careful while walking around. And that basically concludes my knowledge on Mexican and Aztec life. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, click that subscribe button because it would make me happy, and comment down below if you learned something or if you have something for me to learn. Bye guys!